Today we're going to check out the synthesizers that help shape industrial music, and if there is, the best plug-in alternative. The Waldorf Microwave XT came out in '98. This is a true late 90s classic. The Microwave XT is known for its sharp, digital, and sometimes aggressiveness, making it perfect for industrial and EBM. The Microwave XT was used by many industrial artists like Chris Vrenna, Trent Reznor, Frontline Assembly, and also Charlie Clouser that said that it was used on Nine Inch Nails' album The Fragile, but more specifically on the track Into the Void. The only track I can definitely say that the Microwave XT was used on was Into the Void. The gentle mid-range pulse type thing was a guitar track going through the Microwave 2 XT's filter. You can also spot a Microwave XT in this interview with Trent Reznor at Nothing Studios in 2003. In the early 2000s, Bill Leeb gave an interview with Canadian Musician magazine, where you can see a list of synths used to create one of Delirium's album, and in that list you can see the Waldorf XT. More recently, the team behind Osiris announced that they were working on an emulation of the Waldorf Microwave XT called Xenia. The Roland JP-8000 was released in '97 to compete with the other analog modeling synthesizers of the time, such as the Access Virus or the Nordlead. The JP-8000 stood out from other synths of its time because of a few cool features, like obviously the famous supersaw waveform, the triangle mode, and also the feedback oscillator. Also the use of sliders instead of knobs to tweak the sounds. In '98, they released a rack mount version of the JP-8000 called JP-8080. In my opinion, it's one of the best looking synth ever made. It was used by Kevin Key of Skinny Puppy, Gary Newman, Chris Vrenna, and also by Suicide Commando, who used it for live concerts. There's a very cool JP-8000 emulation made by Adam Sabo that captures the essence of the sound and also the behavior of the original supersaw waveform. The Prophet VS came out in '86. This was Sequential's first digital synth, and unfortunately it was also their final synth. It's known as the first synth to implement the vector synthesis concept. The VS was used by John Carpenter on the soundtrack of They Live. It was also used by Aphex Twin, again Charlie Clouser, Kraftwerk, and of course Trent Reznor, who used it on many songs, such as the chorus of Kinda Want To. According to Charlie Clouser, they used it live for the solo part of Closer. I think the end keyboard solo in the live version of Closer was from a Prophet VS. And I think for live use, we sampled one long note and mapped it across the entire keyboard on the Emax. As you guys probably know by now, I love Arturio's plugins. They made a plugin emulating the Prophet VS that even have the iconic preset that Trent Reznor was using called Volcanic, with a K this time. Also released in '86, the ESQ-1 was Ensoniq's highly affordable digital synthesizer. In '87, they released a rack mount version which is identical to the ESQ-1, except that it excludes the onboard sequencer option. Also, fun fact, the chip and the heart of this synth was designed by Robert Yanes, who also created the famous Commodore SID chip. The same chip was used in the SQ-80, the Mirage, and the Apple II GS computers. It was used by Jean-Michel Jarre and obviously by Dwayne and Kevin Key from Skinny Puppy, as you can see in this picture from 1988. If you're a synth nerd like me and you ever wondered how Skinny Puppy would program their ESQ-1, there's a pretty great video on Kevin Key's YouTube channel where he shows how he programs his ESQ-1. There's a really cool software by UVI called ESQ-1. Let me know if you can guess what song this is. Produced from '71 to 1980, the ARP 2600 is probably one of the most known and iconic synthesizer ever.
For years, I don't even know the Sabbath. I forgot how to use the fucking thing.
The 2600 is an analog beast capable of producing awesome sounds. It has seen several revisions comprising 4 model generations. It is now famous for having been used to create R2-D2's voice.
R2.
The re-release, often referred as the ARP 2600 FS, was launched in 2020. In 2021, Korg released the ARP 2600M, a more modern, portable version of the original synthesizer, used by tons of bands like VNV Nation, Depeche Mode, again Skinny Puppy, who named the 2600 as one of their most important pieces of equipment. 9 Inch Nails, as you can see in the background of this interview with Waveshaper Media, and also Niger Ebb, who recorded using Daniel Miller's legendary ARP 2600.
So that record, it was quite common to have, you know, quite a few modules of System 100M, Flood System 700, Daniel's ARP 2600, and quite often we were patching, you know, cross-patching between all those systems. It's really good fun, actually.
There's many softwares that replicate the ARP 2600, but you guessed it, my favorite would be the Arturia emulation. Don't forget to check out my website and also my Patreon. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao. This was Sequential's first The 2600 was ARP's modular. The 2600 was ARP's.